Sunny Gavaskar joins us live on the program, helping us build to that final. Sunny bhai, we saw these two teams play in one of those Super 4 encounters. It was a low-scoring game, but India came out on top. Will that have any bearing on the final? Can India then afford to take Sri Lanka lightly, considering that they've beaten them earlier in this group?
No, absolutely not. I think Lanka has always been a dangerous team, and they can turn the tables on you, in an unsuspecting manner. Much like New Zealand is, they fly under the radar. Sri Lanka is also a similar kind of team. They don't have superstar players, but they've got good committed players. Their bowling is very canny, very crafty, and they've got a couple of destructive batters. So, and not to forget that they'll have the support of the home crowd. So India cannot afford to take this game lightly.
All right, Sahibai talks about that support of the home crowd. That indeed is true. Very rarely do you find a situation where Indian team does feel like the away team. It is happening here, and expect a full house here at the Premadasa Stadium come Sunday, the final. Majority of the home fans will be in the stadium, and India will feel like the away team. The crowd support will clearly be towards the Sri Lankan team. But just looking at it from India's point of view, Sahibai, one thing that we've seen with India in the recent past, when it comes to multinational tournaments, you've seen that India does well at the group stage. It's only in the big games, whether it's the semi-final, whether it's the final, that they seem to falter. Does the Asia Cup final then present an opportunity for them to get that monkey off their back, win a big final, and that will give them a lot of confidence going into the World Cup? Is that something that India can look forward to in this final to rectify this particular issue?
Yes, absolutely. India in the knockouts, particularly semi-finals, finals, they have been followed a big shot. But this time around, with the kind of form that our batters have shown, look, everybody has got runs. Rohit Sharma has got runs. I know he got out for a duck against Bangladesh, but he's got runs. He's having a good partnership with Shubman Gill. Gill has got 100. Kohli has got 100. Rahul has got 100. Ishan Kishan, Hardik Pandya have had good knocks. So yes, I think the Indian batting looks good. And the way Bumrah has been bowling at the start, causing problems for the opening batters of the opposition team, I think this Indian team looks ready to lift the Asia Cup.
Sahibai, let's get into the specifics now. Let's take a look at that 11 that I'm talking about. Who should be those 11 members that should take the field for India? Let's start with the fast bowlers. Jasprit Bumrah was rested, so he's going to be back. I want to know who's the other new ball partner he should have. Siraj has been the go-to guy for them. He's played 4 games. Shami's only played 2, but Shami's picked almost the same amount of wickets that Siraj has in 4 games. Shami's done it in 2 games. If you had to pick one between Shami, Siraj, who partners Bumrah?
I think Siraj, because Siraj has got the knack of, getting the wickets. Mohammad Shami is a senior bowler but he hasn't played too much of cricket in the last month and a half. This is probably only the second match he's playing. So he just looks a little short of being, going at full steam. Fast bowlers and bowlers need, miles under their belt. Shami has not had those miles under his belt. So I do believe that Siraj should get the preference.
Okay, Sahibai, we know that Akshar Patel is very doubtful. He's still not been ruled out. We know that Washington Sundar has been brought as cover. But my question to you is, India is only going to play one bowling all-rounder, that's for sure. Whether it's Shardul, whether it is then Washington / Akshar. I highly doubt that Akshar would be available, but that spin bowling all-rounder. Which way do you see the Indian team go in the final? With a fast bowling all-rounder or with a spin bowling all-rounder?
Well, depends on the kind of pitch. If the pitch is likely to afford spin, then you want to pick Akshar Patel in the team. You're also making a left-handed option down the order, which with Ishan Kishan, Jadeja, and Akshar is always a good thing to have in the middle order and lower order, if not at the top of the order.
Sahibai, now here's the most important question ahead of the final. In fact, a question to which even the Indian team would be looking for answers. How does one deal with the Vellalage threat?
Well, I think they're going to try and get to the pitch of the ball as quickly as possible. It's not easy because he doesn't always toss the ball up. But every time he gives the ball a little bit of air, quick footwork, get to the pitch of the ball and drive him. Not necessarily look to loft him. Unless the pitch is a flat pitch and there's not much turn, then you can look to loft him. But if there's a bit of turn, you want to be a little careful when you're playing the lofted shot. But get to the pitch of the ball, use your feet, and make him think what is going to happen. He might bowl short, which you can then pull out and cut.
Saim bhai, a word on this resurgence of Kuldeep Yadav, his overall performance in the tournament so far?
Yes, I think Kuldeep has shown that, he can make the difference, wrist spin, whether it is right hand or left hand, because of the fact that, there's a bit of loop, there's a bit of tip sometimes can get to wickets. And wickets are the best dot balls in limited overs cricket. And the fact that he's now bowling a little flatter, not giving that much air, getting the ball to, grip and spin, makes him very difficult to play.
All right, Saim bhai, we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining us. Here's